Welcome back in. You're watching our Wisconsin Women's Series, and today we have a little bit of a tough topic to tackle, a lot to know in this industry. We're talking about protecting your professional license. Good thing we've got an expert on the line here. Joining us virtually is Mario Mendoza. He's a professional licensed defense attorney with Murphy Desmond. Mario, thanks for joining us today.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
So a little bit of a big topic to take on today, but I want to talk a little bit about this. What does it mean to be a licensed professional, and what kind of professionals require a license? What are you seeing?
You know, all of us in daily life, we entrust certain professionals with our physical and mental health, with our financial well-being, and even the protection of our rights. Licensing boards then are charged with protecting the public to make sure that these professionals are competent and ethical. And this is done through the licensing and disciplinary process. So the list is very, very long. Healthcare professionals like nurses, physicians, psychologists, social workers, business professionals like accountants and realtors, attorneys, they all need professional licenses, and the list goes on and on.
And so it's important, of course, that we are able to maintain those licenses in situations of work. And I'm curious, what you see in your line of work. Obviously, as a defense attorney, what are some examples of situations where a person may face problems concerning their professional license?
Well, and we actually look at 2 points in time: when you initially apply for a license, and then once you have a license, issues that can come up once you're already out in practice. So let's talk first about the initial licensing application. Criminal background issues are a very, very common source of having your license application be delayed, whether that's a DUI, an underage drinking ticket, disorderly conduct. All those things can call into question your character and your ability to safely practice in a particular profession. And then once you have a license, there are issues that reflect, well, what happens in society as a whole. Issues with drugs and alcohol, whether it's practicing while impaired by drugs or alcohol, or diverting medications for personal use. But beyond that, there are a failure to follow a standard that is set by the particular profession, like in healthcare, failing to properly assess and document the care provided to a patient, or in the case of an attorney, failing to keep a client well informed. All of these things could put your professional license in jeopardy.
And it is so interesting to me talking about these personal matters, because when I think about a professional license being in jeopardy, I don't necessarily think about your personal life being a factor. So it's sort of interesting to hear your perspective on that.
Go ahead.
I want to dive a little bit more into that and talk more about why that license might be at risk due to something going on in your personal life. Maybe it's even current.
Right, and the issues don't only come up concerning conduct that happens at work. It's things that happen outside of work. For example, a criminal conviction that happens outside of the workplace, or conduct that happens outside of the workplace, can land you in trouble. Like, to give one example, a DUI on your way to work, not quite at work, on your way to work, that can have repercussions for your license. Social media posts, for example, that reveal confidential information, or a post that expresses a point of view that is contrary to the ethics of a particular profession, all of those things can call into question your license and your ability to practice.
Okay, so if an individual is facing this kind of an issue and accused of wrongdoing, whether it be at work in their professional life or outside of their professional life in their personal life, and their license then becomes at risk, what should they do?
They really should contact an experienced professional licensing attorney right away. A professional license in a professional career is the culmination of a whole list of sacrifices that you've made. So you owe it to yourself to protect that investment. And after all, your livelihood might be in jeopardy. Here's some of the common mistakes that I see when people try to defend themselves. They ignore a complaint or an investigation. And that's a form of denial. And to some extent, we get that, but it only makes the matter worse. Or minimizing. If there's an allegation against you that most people would consider serious, and then you respond by describing it as not that big a deal, that also calls into question your truthfulness and your character and can turn a case that might be manageable into something far more serious. So when we work with clients, we actually try to pursue some of the same things that the licensing boards want to pursue, and that is the truth. And sometimes the licensing boards don't have all of the truth until we help present it, whether that means refuting an allegation that's been made against you, or providing a context that helps explain or mitigate the impact of the conduct, or describing the steps that have been taken to address the problem. All of those things are best done with the assistance of an attorney that's done this before.
All important things to think about, and you're right, experience matters. So for our viewers who are watching, if you or a loved one is dealing with issues surrounding your professional license, it's always nice to hear from an expert and talk through some of your options. Again, this is Mario Mendoza with Murphy Desmond. I'm Jessa Jeremiah. We'll be right back with more. Stick with us.